All too easy. I don't have time for this. Suits my purposes. Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes.
I hear you moving. No more. If it serves your cause.
Nice try.
physical horrors of Commorragh behind them, a long and arduous journey possible only with the help of a Xenos guide lay ahead for the rogue trader and her party. From one strange destination to the next, through unknowable environments, the mere sight of which could drive one to madness. Despite the challenges, they managed to escape the labyrinthian webway and find their way back home.
Is my mic back? Yes, my mic is back. Well, thank you, Moose, for that. Well, still, I got out of Comorragh. Oh my god. Okay, I just want to say something. This game is great, except for Comorragh. Except for Commorragh. It does that thing that so many video games do, where they give you, like, all this cool stuff they give you, like, this thing that's the base of the game. Like, in Star Wars Republic Commando, for instance, it's, like, it's your squad. And that was the tagline of that game. The squad is your weapon. It's your weapon. It's your weapon. It's your weapon. But what do they do in the second campaign, in campaign number 2? You go into a ship with none of your squad. In one of the Star Wars Jedi game, the second Star Wars Jedi game that EA made. You spend all your time leveling up Cal Kestis, getting new all these new abilities and more stim pats and whatever. And then you fight Darth Vader as someone who isn't Cal fucking Kestis. In this game, you've got your ship and the ability to change out party members. But you come into this game, but you get to Commorragh, and you lose, like, a good portion of your party members and your access to your ship when you go to Commorragh. It's annoying. Don't do this, game designers, please, for the love of God. Anyway, the Officers' Council decided to take the ship to Footfall. Our agents tirelessly searched for information about your ladyship. Had we heard even the whisper of where you were imprisoned, we would have immediately launched a rescue expedition. Okay, it's good you didn't do that, because I was in Commorragh! While you were absent, Lord Captain, we made every effort to find you. That resulted in a number of modifications to the ship that have significantly upgraded it. Oh, thanks to a favorable deal secured by the esteemed High Factotum, the ship is now equipped with state-of-the-art auger systems and direction finders from Kiavagama. Okay, like, normally, if I remember my playthrough from before, I've been role-playing as someone who doesn't have a big head. But, we gonna party. We begin at once, your ladyship. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started in here. Glory to the rogue trader. Glory to House von Valancius. Your subject's triumphant roar sends a tremor through the bridge. It is as though the ship itself is greeting its long-lost owner. And with the AI we found, that might actually be what is happening. The factotum smacks his lip awkwardly and adds in a quieter voice, Lord Captain, the senior officers will report to you shortly. In your absence, we received a number of astropathic messages and dispatches that demand your attention. Okay. Oh, hi, Nomos. But first, like, while I'm answering those messages and talking to Nomos, drinks are on me. And probably for the next week, so we can cycle, like, crew members who are busy doing shit. The group of servitors suddenly stirs, their movements sprightly identical even for automatons. They stare at you and say in perfect unison, Hello, Nomos have come to welcome you back. We sense that a great deed has been done, a vivid imprint on existence. You did something very important. What was it? I fed a dark city of Xenos into a force the likes of which they had never seen before. We feel your rapture. We share it. Did Nomos say it correctly? Servitor's chorus, which respond as a single voice, which sounds as a single voice, falls silent. Nomos appears to be for your response in eager anticipation. After a long pause, the Servitor chorus responds with unexpected forcefulness. Nomos are glad too. We must go now. We will come back. We will come to speak with you later. Another pause follows, so long the silence becomes more piercing than a scream, and the servitors finally break it. We were wondering whether you would manage to return. One can detect with the naked eye the movement when Nomos leaves the bridge. The servitors stop moving in sync and slowly shuffle off to their post. Huh? Amelia, we need to talk. With your permission, I think we should continue this conversation in your study. I only have 1 or 2 questions. The interrogator's tone brooks no argument. Amelia, Heinrichs, he says with a distracted nod, his eyes glued to you as though trying to ascertain that it really is you and not some devious look-alike. His face is pale and drawn with dark shadows under his eyes. He has not been sleeping. I will take up a minute of your time, I need to know what happened to you. Yes, I'm glad to see you too. Heinrichs takes a step towards you. How did you bear the ordeal? Are you all right? Peaky. Heinrichs chokes on the word. Without even realizing it, he steps closer to you. Sometimes I make mistakes, but this, letting a rogue trader disappear from under my nose, this is a new one for me. I gutted that accursed place where you disappeared. Found traces of Drukhari presence. I searched everywhere Xenos had been sighted. I tried everything to try and shake information out of the prisoners. Heinrichs continues listing his methods. Okay, we're sleeping with Heinrichs. Heinrich sweeps you off your feet. Okay, we're sleeping with Heinrichs. Oh, strange chill that surrounds us both. I thought I had lost you forever. I spent days and nights trying to pick you up your trail and black. So the expanse drove me almost mad. Amelia, perhaps I did a little. Okay, sexy times. Such scandalous conduct. I'm just curious, can you assignate him if you're male, or is the game binary? Or is he, like, completely straight? Your ladyship, I must report highly compromising information about a member of your retinue. Namely Mistress J. Haydari, who, it turns out, is nothing of the sort but a commoner, a fugitive from the law, and a deserter from the Imperial Guard. I have solid evidence to prove it. I'm not going to threaten him. In your ladyship's absence, the burden of watching over the dynasty's treasury fell upon my shoulders. I deemed J. Hedari the likeliest threat to the dynasty's material security. Okay. Okay, I knew that. Fearing that the predatory interests of the Casballica would impose a threat to your coffers, I began my own investigation. It was entirely reasonable to suspect collusion of some kind between Hidari and Mercy, and so my suspicions were confirmed. The two were connected. It was from Mercy's associates that I inquired the compromising intelligence on Hidari. I may have overlooked some nuances, but I have solid evidence that the person whom we presently know as J. Hidari served in the 19th Fleet Regiment and was identified as the perpetrator of numerous instances of theft and smuggling, as well as desertion. This individual is not of noble birth, but of the lowest origins. Shot me, did you wannabe quester? Jay's voice and bearing undergo a stark transformation. Biting soldier's line cuts through her typically gentle speech. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by it. Oh man, I just want to say... Well, we're being honest.
Well, your ladyship, ask away. I'll tell it like it is. I'm not going to try to wriggle out of it. So
Oh,
what
we
do you want
haven't
to hear,
met Mercy?
Sherry? A children's tale about a beautiful princess. A ballad about a queen of thieves. How about a new story, Sherry? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock, and the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16, and then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie. But the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities. But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Casballica. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time, until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Munitorum. So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen. I swear on the grave of my drunkard father who sold me into the mines, and on the lives of the 11 siblings I never had, Shireen.
Awareness test. No, it is most...
The folks on Footfall are my only family, Shireen. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain-talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade. Oh, really, Shireen? And there I thought you were quite ready to believe my time-honed thespian performance.
It's not that I believed it or not, it's that I didn't really care.
Corporal Haydari reporting for duty, ma'am. I've had enough of the Astra Militarum shit to last a lifetime, Sherian. And my body's collected enough souvenirs from run-ins with Xenos and heretics to last 2 lifetimes. Except when it comes to the Guard, there's no such thing as used to be. That wretched life sank its claws into me good. But that also means I remember what it's like to be a small, shaking, insignificant pawn. And that's why I appreciate what I have now, all the more. It was orcs. Not everything I say is a lie, Shireen. What? You think it's difficult? Once me and my fellow guardsmen snuck into the upper city in search of a good watering hole, where the high and mighty of that world congregated. Another time, our regiment was sent to defend the tallest spires on a hive world. And I had an epiphany. I saw how the other half lives. And by half, I mean the ones born with a diamond spoon in their mouth, instead of an entrenching shovel rammed up their arse. My eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. The Imperium is full of opportunities, even for people like myself. The trick is knowing whose palms to grease, whose boots to lick, whose throat to squeeze, and whose arses to kick. I was very popular with everyone in the Guard Command, you see. I'd procure things for them, whatever they wanted. And so the Kasbalika took notice. Whoop the never mind. We knew each other once. He helped me make the move to the Expanse and establish my first connections. But that's an old story I prefer not to poke at if I can help it. Things are good in my life now, and I don't need mercy. Are you worried I'm going to start spitting on the deck and shriveling your officers' ears with my foul tongue? Don't be, Shireen. I much prefer being seen as a princess rather than a deserter. I'll continue to play the part in front of the others, but you wanted to talk frankly, so I've dropped the act. Sir, yes sir, your ladyship, Shireen. I'll be here, all primed and ready to go.
Okay, that was good. Denrock adjusts his jacket before addressing you. Now then, Lord Captain, shall we get to business? We have a number of items to go over. The Expanse is in flames, your ladyship. Squadrons and smaller groups of the despicable Drukhari radar systems. The cult of the Final Dawn has emerged in full force, wreaking havoc everywhere. We've heard rumors of the fall of Santiel's pride, House Chorda's world, an outrageous sacrilege given how abundant and inexpensive amethium is there. Strife has broken out between House Winterscale and Chorda. Chaos reigns everywhere. Only the esteemed Lord Inquisitor is trying to fight it, concentrating all available forces at Footfall to draw them into a fist that will smash the raging Xenos and heretics and Xenos for vermin. Okay, what kind of Xenos? Drukhari, your ladyship. Their squadrons, both large and small, are invading the Expanse, unleashing carnage on planets, taking captive by the thousands, and attacking ships. It is as if something has poked their nest, if you will, and now they are lashing out. The heretics' malicious acts make it difficult to maintain astropathic contact with the colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn strikes everywhere, and their sleeper agents are active on every planet. On Eobos 6, a mutiny was crushed after a group of newly arrived prisoners succumbed to blasphemous propaganda, but other worlds stand firm against the onslaught of the enemies of humanity and do not succumb to their pernicious influence. Exactly. The esteemed Lord Inquisitor Kalkazar has declared himself Warden of the Kronos Expanse and issued orders to requisition troops. He has made Footfall his base of operations, as it was the most logistically convenient point. From there, his fleet will strike through the Expanse, destroying the forces of the cult of the Final Dawn and the abominable Drukhari. He may be all that currently stands in the way of the Expanse being reduced to ash. When heretics laid siege to Euphrates II, the hallowed forge of the Cognizance fleet, the Lord Inquisitor sent an enormous force. Now they and the explorator squadrons are recalled from the front lines to stand together against heretics in the battle for the sacred planet. When the esteemed Lord Inquisitor called upon the rogue traders to join his forces, her ladyship Incendia Chorda heeded the summons, while his lordship Caligos Winterscale ignored it. Rumor has it that his refusal was defiant in manner and served as a pretext for Lady Chorda to declare war on House Winterscale. Oh, that must have been so fun for Calcasar to hear. Winterscale's ships are being hunted, and his worlds occupied under the pretense of compelling them to submit to the Imperial Creed. Surprisingly, for all his love of fighting, Winterscale is in no hurry to defend his domain. According to intercepted astropathic messages, he and his retinue are currently on Quetzaltemer hunting down a Xenos fleet, Eldari by all appearances. Anything else? Anyway, we're back. I would not... There have been other minor developments. If you so wish, I will gladly bring you up to speed on the bridge. I would not want to take them any time away from this occasion. Abelard, Lord Captain, allow me to make a request, a personal one. While you were away, the choir master received an astropathic message from Dargonus. It concerns my family. The Wissarians have been accused of treason against House von Valentius. How is this possible? I cannot comprehend it. The Wissarians have served the rogue trader dynasty loyally for generations. This is hard to admit, but the news has come as a crushing blow. The accusations were leveled by or on behalf of the Drives. Yep. The governing house. Under normal circumstances, the investigation would not have required your involvement, and my entire family would have been. But being of noble stock, the Wissarians are entitled to an ancient custom to petition for a rogue trader's personal protection once in a generation. Your personal protection, Lord Captain. Do not deny us that honor, I implore you. I will take part in the investigation. Adira hurriedly enters the study, sniffling and hunching her shoulders. She looks haggard. There are bags under her eyes. Her hair is disheveled, and her hands quiver slightly every few minutes. With some effort, she focuses her eyes on you and forces a crooked smile. Lord Captain, I wanted to thank you for not leaving me with that sick homunculus, and I'm sorry if I said a bunch of things I shouldn't have said. I forget what she said. I was pretty out of it. You just don't know what it's like to finally be alone with your own thoughts. Oh, was she kind of brainwashed and didn't want to leave? It wasn't easy to give that up and believe it was just another trap set by Xenos. Well, thanks to you, things are back to the way they've always been. The door's cracked open again, and my dear old Whisperers are back to torture me, the rascals. She chuckles bitterly. You know, I didn't come here to get all teary-eyed and grateful to you. Something important, something about my Whispers. See, I've been having some interesting visions, and I feel like how we deal with those visions is going to decide my fate. No, it sounds dramatic, but I'm being dead serious now. I keep having the same vision over and over again, walking down a corridor and there's this door at the end, and I just know that right behind that door is blissful silence. All I've got to do is reach out and open it. So I touch it with my fingers, I can feel cold, rough metal, then suddenly I snap out of it and find myself staring at a wall in some compartment or other. I look behind me and all the doors on the way are open, but I have no memory of how I got there. Lord Captain, I'll cut to the chase. Please help me find that door. I'm not joking. This is a matter of life and death. My gut tells me it's my last chance to deal with my powers, and if I don't... Why not ask questions? I have no idea. Maybe it's some incredible implant from the Tech Priest's secret stores. Or maybe, I don't know, a serum kept away in the Inquisition's vaults. There's such a thing as architect, right? Plenty of it lying around. Maybe some of it could help me. Oh, poor girl. Vague ones, as usual. I think I can hear the muffled cries of some weird birds. My head is sweating like it's somewhere hot. I'm surrounded by rockcrete, your everyday Imperium stuff, except it reeks of burnt flesh, fried cables, and chemicals. Oh. And it gives off a sense of despair. Suffering thick like tar hangs in the air, gets in your nose and your throat, makes you sick. Only been to one other place like that, the homunculus's lair. I'm sorry, that's about it. Nothing more concrete. But I think if we get close enough, I'll sense it immediately. No, well, I don't know. It feels different. The one from the visions feels very, I don't know, real? I could even touch it. It's definitely not an illusion. It really does exist somewhere. Trust me, neither of us wants to open the other door, the whispering one. Oh, really? Oh, it's really, really not. I'm sure you've heard stories about how people tried to lock Psyker's abilities away for good, and how those Psykers would eventually go insane and explode into little pieces. Besides, you don't need stories to remember what happened to me when Travantius blocked my powers. Just a bit longer and my brains would have been mush. But if there's a way, no, not to shut my door completely, but to make it so a tiny little crack remains. Now, that's a different story. I can feel it. If we find this thing, whatever it is, it'll be all right. No way, it can't be. Whatever, I'll go in alone if you like. Just please help me get there. I've got another question. What if this door is a metaphor for something? Whatever. We'll find this door. Thank you, Lord Captain. I knew you wouldn't leave me in a bind. As soon as I sense we're close, I'll let you know right away. Oh. Heinrichs. Amelia. Heinrichs gives you a curt nod in greeting. I apologize for barging in unannounced. I have received news that I must discuss with you face to face. You may recall that I mentioned Achilles. That is, Achilles Allender was transferred into my remit by a colleague. The colleague in question has contacted me. She requires my immediate assistance. Emelina Lichtenhart, Sage to the Inquisitor. An acolyte who was assigned a different range of objectives the Cronus Expanse. Throne take me, I am still trying to hide information, even when I am asking for your help. Emelina is a sage, a unique acolyte of the Inquisition, who can absorb huge amounts of knowledge and store it in her own memory more securely than any data crypt. She entered the Lord Inquisitor's retinue before I did. Talking to her is a strange experience, but that is barely scratching the surface of who she is. Emelina is an incredible scholar, an expert on forbidden and the illicit, and of course she is a loyal servant to the Golden Throne. Since birth, Emelina has been different from other people. Specialists from the Inquisition enhanced her natural gift of hyperamnesia. There are certain procedures that can be done. She creates separate blocks of memory, which she can then lock under a code word, or even overwrite with new information. She can organize her mind like a normal person arranges boxes on a shelf. Oh. That's interesting. One box might contain information about a recent mission in Alexis, another of the latest decrees of the Lex Imperialis, and another her own childhood memories. The levels This level of compartmentalization might seem somewhat insane to the untrained eye, but it is the price one must pay to turn an ordinary servant into a useful tool of the Inquisition. Emelina carries knowledge that is forbidden to common servants of the Imperium. She carries this knowledge within herself, as it cannot be entrusted to logs or cogitators. I said before that acolytes of the Inquisition must shoulder a heavy burden, to come into contact with the things that can penetrate and corrupt the soul. For sages, this is an especially trying ordeal. Emelina's hyperamnesia has been enhanced so that she now remembers everything she sees, however briefly. And after many years of service, she has examined and seen enough to become an unrivaled expert in this field. Emelina is worthy of the acolyte, an invaluable tool in the Imperial Inquisition's arsenal. I admire her traits and talents. Emelina's message is incomplete and distorted. It is impossible to make sense of every word. The only thing we know for certain is that an acolyte of the Inquisition is asking me to go immediately to Ton or a remote planet. In her message, she seems to be requesting either military support or help with an evacuation. But whatever precipitated the request, Emelina would not make it if it weren't absolutely necessary. I know a rogue trader has more than enough matters to deal with. Yeah, I just got back and already I've got 6 quests. Nevertheless, I would like to officially request Captain Lord Captain's assistance with dealing with this matter. I have no authority to demand anything from House on Valencias, therefore I am confining myself to a request, for the sake of the Cronus' expense and the Imperium. Lord Captain, a rogue trader may be in a position to challenge the Inquisition's authority over their soul, mind, and actions, but a rogue trader's astropaths and vox officers? Hardly. Okay, what's the situation? For the avoidance of leaks, the details of the objectives of specific acolytes shall remain a secret. All I can tell you is that the primary threat that Emelina was dealing with in the Cronus Expanse was Xenos, in particular Drukhari raids on distant systems. Sage is ideally suited for gathering data about the chronology of this problem and finding the appropriate methods for combating it. As for what Emelina is doing on Photon 4 specifically, I don't know. I don't even know any of the details about the world itself, only that there are humans there, so either it has been colonized or a garrison has been established there. The cult of the Final Dawn has been my priority here, and my investigation has given me no cause to turn my attention to that planet. Okay. Thank you, Lord Captain. I am confident that this minor deviation from our primary course will help to stem the spread of anarchy in the Cronus Expanse, if only slightly. At the very least, we won't be outflanked. I have already spoken to the navigation crew and provided them with the coordinates of Ton 4. You can set a course for it as soon as you give the order. Okay. Enough Xenos. Justice will be done one way or another. Okay. Okay, what's going on? Sliver only like heretic spawn, but you will never leave the ship unscathed. What's going on? For how long are you going to tolerate this filth on your ship, Amelia? This foul traitor who has already dragged you into darkness once, who almost left your protectorate without its sovereign. Rogue traitor. Has Eldari heresy crowded your judgment? Treachery always means death, even for the traitor or for one What is going... You're one... Oh, shut up, Marzai. Your monkai have had it worse. I will live, and the wounds of my soul will eventually heal. They will live too. But their souls will bleed forever. Will forever bleed painful memories. Okay. Marzai Azariash stares down at you from his formidable height, his head tilted slightly to one side. The lean, wiry Xenos is encased in black armor. Not even a sliver of a gap has been left between the tightly fitting plates, which bristle with neatly gleaming barbs and hooks. Set in a white face striated with crimson tattoos, dark eyes devour you, burning with predatory, malevolent interest.
I had no intention of ending my days playing the role of meat in the arena. And then you blithely offered me an alliance after what I'd done to you. Why? That is true. But I'm not merely a hireling. It is strange you did not consider that when you offered me an alliance. But it does not matter. Ask your questions. I will decide which is worthy of an answer.
Okay, what's the trade?
The Drakon is the first
Drakon
among the blades of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest, and the Drukhari who stands but one rung below the Archon. The Drakon leads raids and wages wars against other Cabals, keeps the arrogant true-born and half-born upstarts at bay, and has the pick of any opponent in any battle. Irimaris used to have others in her inner circle, but I ensured that they all disappeared one by one, and that their successors were too terrified to take their place. That was when my sister engaged an incubi order to serve as her bodyguards. Incubi do not respond to fear or bribes. It was a punishment. One of my raids was not as successful as it should have been. And Irimaris ordered Tavantius to forcibly implant the knowledge of the repulsive monkey language into my mind. Supposedly so that I could at least benefit the Cabal by coaxing the monkey into their cages. 5 days I spent under a cerebral burner in the Spire's main hall, to the delight of Irimaris' entourage. I dislocated every joint, struggling in agony against my shackles. But I would endure it all again to expel this
we get it. You
poison
hate
from
us.
my head. Must there be another reason beyond survival and ambition? Commorragh does not tolerate weakness. Commorragh respects only strength and cunning. Either you climb upward on the corpses of your enemies, or you become one of the steps underfoot.
Keep your arrogance in check. Irimaris was clever and deadly, and if I had underestimated her abilities and strength, I would have been food for the Urguls long ago. The very fact that she surpassed me speaks for itself. I refused to give her cause to cast me out as a traitor. No, our rivalry, our little game that ran since our birth, took time. And another thing, when you're at the top, you need something to stave off boredom. This game amused us and terrorized the rest of the Cabal. The Cabal of the Black Heart is the most ancient of all the Cabals, and the largest. It casts a shadow over all Comorragh, and when the Black Heart strikes, you submit or you die. The Reaving Tempest was not prepared to perish, so when the Black Heart's shadow stretched as far as us, Irimaris' predecessors chose to bend the knee and become their vassals. Irimaris never liked the Cabal's subordinate position. Her words, and sometimes her actions, directed against the Black Heart, prompted whispers of discontent and fear among those who served her. I was not willing to renounce the protection of Asdrubal Vekt's own Cabal.
Oh, Vekt.
If I had succeeded in overthrowing Irimaris with Nazrakay's aid, many within the Reaving Tempest would have supported me. Tavantius was Irimaris' ally, not mine. The Reaving Tempest is his patron, and patron also to the witches of the arena. I've had cause to seek out his artistry several times, and each time with difficulty. Of late, he's been gone from Commorragh more often than he's been in it. He was probably in one of his lairs where he hides his other experiments and creations. After Tavantius quarreled with the witches and was stripped of the Cabal's protection, his havens in Commorragh were turned into a deadly trap. I imagine they've been ransacked and destroyed by now. His other hideouts may be somewhere in the tangle of the webway, or in real space. But that last possibility is madness even for a homunculus. When the grotesque of a rival Cabal ripped my arm off at the shoulder, when I needed a substance to wring the truth out of you in the Obsidian Court, when I had personal desires that only a master of flesh could satisfy.
Personal desire, sex stuff.
You are just dying to know, aren't you? An amusing example of a primitive mind. Any Drukhari towers over any monkey, and we do not conceal our attitude to livestock, but my Cabalite kin. Every one of them should be treated with caution, and those who have already demonstrated their power and might are a deadly threat in their own right. I do not revel in submission. I accept things as they are. And I wait until a point of weakness reveals itself and calls to my blade. It is a caste in Commorragh. Noble Drukhari born under certain circumstances. Their cradle before birth was not an amniotic gestational tube, but a living womb. Carrying a fetus for such a lengthy term is as good as a death sentence for a female Drukhari. She is too vulnerable to her enemy's attacks, and she is of no use on a raid. In Commorragh, only the most powerful Drukhari, who are able to surround themselves with the best protection, can allow themselves such an extravagance. Farkaza Aziriesh, poisoner of Azdrujar, and Shaimish's elect, was one such exalted leader of the Drukhari. The result was worth the effort. Eviscerator of Illyridas, Blaze of the Barkag Kingdom, and Slayer of Corocius the Pale. Illyridas was a world inhabited by our distant Eldari cousins, until I led a reaping raid there. The Barkat Kingdom was a separate cluster on the fringes of Commorragh before it went to war with the Reaving Tempest, and by the time I left, I was wading through the blood of its inhabitants. And lastly, Corocious the Pale. He was an ancient homunculus who betrayed the Azuriash at the behest of another cabal. That was not a military victory, but a personal one. In his attempts to make himself invincible, Corocious had sown inside himself the deadliest creatures from the depths of Commorragh. It did not save him. I cut out every one of his 8 hearts and sent them to his former coven as a warning to the rest. Are you sure? I must adapt to my new circumstances, and to this bucket that you monkey call a void ship. These alloy bulkheads, so primitive.
Okay, see
Then
you.
go. I will find something to amuse myself with.
Infernus Master nonchalantly lights a glow stick from a thermal cutter and spreads his arm in a welcoming gesture. Heinrich Montag, at your service. He smells of cinders and low, his face is sooty, and his belt is laden with a number of heavy tools. You would have taken him for a laborer if it wasn't for the greasy and ragged officer's uniform. He narrows his eyes, studying your face, then says with visible relief, "It's only the tales, after all. You don't look like a bringer of woe to me." Do I even need say it? The moment you came aboard, Lady Theodora perished. So did her arch-militant, as well as half of the senior officers and a quarter of the Infernus Guild, along with the previous Infernus Master. What's worse, rations don't taste as good anymore, fire burns hotter, and that sinister look in your eyes. Like you're about to put a curse on someone. It's what the Voidsmen say, so it must be true. That would be a sight. I've never seen a real curse before. My niece would be thrilled to hear all about it. I'm just a humble laborer in charge of putting out fires and dealing with emergencies, but everyone here calls me the Infernus Master. I guess this is because I answer for them with my life. That's right. Picture flames roar and all the ships and systems have failed, including the artificial gravity. You can't make out anything because of the red-hot debris, and you know an explosion is coming. It's a nightmare, but your job's to evacuate the panicked crew, eliminate the cause of the fire, and get the compartment back in working order. Of course, the job description doesn't allow me to risk my life now. It's all about management these days, sending the boys and girls into the fire. But it's all nonsense, and if the going gets tough, I won't leave them in there alone. Oh, there are many. Accidents due to external factors, for example. It's from enemy guns or collisions with hollow objects, like the wreckages of other ships. There are plenty of internal causes as well, from the system malfunctions and short circuits to problematic cargo. A couple years ago, something blew up in the hold, nearly burned it to a crisp, and then there's sabotage. That Voidveer snake did a lot of damage to the ship. The simple answer is because nothing is on fire. As head of the Infernus Guild, I'm mired in the officers' routines of reports and discussions. There are several compartment upgrades and refurbishment on the agenda right now, and I have to make sure that fire safety protocols are followed everywhere. Rest assured, I'll be back to the technical base to do more manual labor as soon as all the paperwork is done. What interests you the most? Our duty, our state-of-the-art equipment, or our vibrant traditions? The Infernus Guild is split into different brigades according to duties. The heart of the guild are, of course, our liquidators, tough guys with nerves of steel who put out fires and pull people from flames. Others are repairmen dealing with problems like jammed doors, fuel leaks, or broken vents. And then there's the walk-in inspectors, who check for deck lines to make sure that nothing is blocking any passages or access to communication lines. That was a bit of a stretch, I'm sorry. There's no state-of-the-art equipment. The risks of ruining it in a fire are too great. We get by using human resources and the most common items available. Respirators, fire extinguishers, and flame-retardant uniforms. Let's face it, the lives of the Inferni are not worth much. It's more important we save the machines and minimize the damage to the ship. We have plenty of those, like for reminders. Heinrich rolls up his sleeve, revealing a tattoo inscribed over an old burn mark. When you survive a particularly hopeless accident, you get a tattoo on your scar. You can always tell an experienced infernus by their ink. It's like a badge of honor of sorts. This one here is from the time plasma leaked of the outer aft circuit. Imagine yourself clinging to the hull outside, thermal cutter in one hand, a magnetic lamp in the other. Azure flames burst from the breach, the kind that can incinerate you in a second. All that separates you from death are a flimsy rope and a void suit more ancient than Holy Terra. And yet the price I paid was nothing compared to my comrades. As for this one, I got this one in an ammo depot where my left Elsinora died. There was a fire and the flames were getting close to the ammunition. I don't mean autogun rounds. These were macro cannon shells. Put out the fire as best we could, but we were losing. Suddenly, Elsie takes my hand, kissed me, and walked straight into the blaze, and activated the emergency blast door. We stayed outside whilst she vented the compartment. It's quite a story. Not in the usual way. My ancestors wronged yours and were appointed Inferni as a result. Hard labor, deadly risks, plenty of opportunities to atone. Those criminals have been dead for generations, but we are still serving their time. Maybe we will find redemption one day. Never let your fire go out, Lord Captain. I mean, no, that's just a stupid little in-guild joke. Seriously, you see an infernus next to a naked flame? Run. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Tanky's back. Tell a friend. Seriously, tell a friend. Also, have water, and on my way to the bathroom, my cat decided to run out of her litter box and just charge me. very nearly didn't need to go to the bathroom after that.
Broke free the bold from captors grasping. Dark cities, feeble dungeons, eternally disgracing. Flows now this saga in the hall of glorious feasting, where all extol the wolf mighty and the yet fatter cunning.
You seem to be having fun.
I hope you're not going to put off the feast. Our escape demands a grand celebration. Find my pack. As we speak, they are likely performing some bloody service for Calcazar. For that reason, I want to have a word with the Inquisitor. This is the name given on Fenris to a pack father, a commander or captain. An Edfater answers to a Jarl, the commander of a great company. Since you are the one who commands your crew, and I follow you at present, I am granting you the honored title of Edfater. You, of course, are a maiden, not a father. But we have no word meeting Maiden Commander in our tongue, as all Space Wolves are men.
Thank you for the honor.
Be worthy of it, and see that you do not disgrace this glorious rank.
Yeah, why do you eat your
Why
enemies?
do you think? What are you suggesting? Do you think that being a prisoner has corrupted me and sown within me a foul yearning for flesh? Do not provoke the wolf. Do you know of the implant called the omophagia? It is one of the blessings the All-Father granted to his Astartes. Nerve nodes that connect the stomach walls and the spinal cord allow me to absorb information from the genetic code of the flesh I consume. I have slain many Xenos and feasted on their flesh. My captors have watched me do it and taken glee in it, while I have been gathering information and planning my escape. Not everyone is granted the right to ask such questions. But you... I shall allow it. What do you want to know about the Astartes from the glorious Fenris? Vilka Fenrica. That is our name in the old tongue of our world. We are the fiercest of the All-Father's warriors. His executioners. His retribution. Our fearless Wolf King is Lehman Russ, son of the All-Father. Our world is Fenris, and our home the Fang, which rises from the world's spine into orbit. We are the thunder in the bloody storm of battle that calls to us. That is who we are.
Glory to the Wolves of Fenris.
But there is more to our spirit than grim destruction alone. In the Hall of Heroes, we hold feasts the likes of which you will see nowhere else. To thundering laughter, we raise our horns, tell our sagas, and honor our glorious fallen. Though the body of an Astartes is built to be immune to the effects of drink, we invented a way around this taboo. The mjod we brew can overcome even our blood. It makes us drunk, and makes our feasts jovial occasions. Ah, mjod. You can brew it nowhere else but on good old Fenris. No other world is home to such poisonous plants. Fenris is home. A harsh land of harsh winters and harsh people. When comes the Hellwinter, a fearsome season of frosts, the merciless world sea freezes, and great white bears, snow wyrms, and ice trolls go on the hunt. Then, the murderous frost retreats, and boats of harpooners sail out to ply their craft, capturing sea snakes and krakens. And then comes the season of fire. Volcanoes awaken. Waves wash over whole islands, and only the land of Asaheim offers salvation to those whose blood and grit win them the right to live upon it. Clan fights clan. Crows circle over battlefields, and wolf howls rise up to the sky. That is my beloved home. There is no place in the universe like it. Tell me, Edfater, what is the most fearsome foe on Fenris? One cannot speak of Fenris without mentioning its wolves. Wolves are fearsome, but there are no more fearsome wolves than us. The curse of the Wolfen is the most fearsome and most terrible foe on Fenris. In the heart of every brother, there lives a dark beast, bloody and forever ravenous. He hungers to kill, not for glory or duty, or his battle brothers, but solely for the sake of killing. For he who falls to that dark beast, there is no joy or thrill in slaughter. There is but dull rancor. Our gene seed is unique. Lehman Russ blessed us with the Canis Helix, a genetic gift that heightens our senses, making them sharper than those of brothers from other chapters. The Canis Helix kindles a bloodthirst in our hearts and changes our appearance to resemble the lethal wolves of Fenris. The wolves do not take orders from outsiders. We keep the old ways, not the Codex Astartes. We fight in packs, and we are trained and healed by our wise rune and wolf priests. We do not find honor in adorning ourselves in laurels, but instead etch the full names of our fallen kin as a promise of vengeance, and draw strength from that promise. We believe in the great wolves, in the deadly Blackbane and fierce Drakan the Thunderwolf, in the redoubtable Hagar the Mountain Wolf, and in the Bloodied Hunter. In the wolf that stalks between stars, who follows us wherever we may go. And in the uncanny two-headed Morkai, guard of the realm of the dead. Of the great wolves, some show us their favor. Others are more malign. But each teaches us a lesson. For that, we praise and honor them. The All-Father is not a god. He is the best of all humans. Our perfect forebear.
These guys still
His blood flowed through the veins of Lehman Russ,
follow
and Russ's blood flows
the
in
Emperor
me.
in that regard.
Does that make me a god? My respect for him has no end, and I am ready to die for him. But what place does faith have here? Is the All-Father like the massive iron wolf, whose every tuft of fur forms a mountain on the surface of Fenris? Or is he as enormous as the Sun Wolf, which rises to hunt every morning and fills our world with light? The All-Father is not a god, but the highest of humanity. Ordinary humans struggle to grasp this, but we, his warriors and offspring, remember the truth. It is difficult for non-Fenrisians to grasp our wisdom. It comes along with the cold and death. Lacan the Ruined Wolf once shared the mysteries of the healing potions and the secrets of magic sagas. He taught them to see the past and future in throne runes, to call down storms, and to carve powerful talismans. The All-Father gifted you with strong intuition. This was made by Skadi Twice-Thinker. The spirits liked him, and one could feast a whole long-held winter night to the words of his saga. So keen was his mind. He was my friend. Do you? And there I was, about to round off my story with a short 400-verse saga about the gifts of Lacan the Ruined Wolf. Should what I told you reach other ears, I shall take your tongue. What do you want to know? What brought the Space Wolves to the Expanse? Or how I ended up? An Inquisitor by the name of Calcazar put out a call for aid. My Wolf Lord did not refuse him, and had 2 packs deployed to the Expanse. We never trusted this ally, but a blood debt for a service rendered in the past forced our hand.
Oh, yep, even Inquisitors can't force space wolves around.
Insightful. We'd had no dealings with this Calcazar before this, and we did not trust him. 2 packs meant twice as many eyes to watch out for his games and schemes. And then... the Coronis Expanse is a wild hunting ground teeming with prey. And the Space Wolves will be the first to turn its snow scarlet. The Jarl decided to send the most indomitable hunters who hunger for honor and bloodshed. 1 pack would have fulfilled its duty for the sake of pride, but 2 would seek to outdo each other for the sake of glory. He saved our brother who had lost the pack and was unable to look after himself or the chapter's honor. Calcazar returned our brother to Fenris and kept secret the misfortune that had befallen him. The Jarl knew that the Inquisitor's actions were driven by opportunism, and the desire to have us mighty warriors in his debt. But honor forced him to be hospitable to the stranger, and swear an oath of friendship. The Inquisition. Pah! Rats, scurrying around the All-Father's house and ruling it in the Master's absence. Cowards they are. The last into battle, but the first on any war council. We saw what they were worth in the months of shame.
After the first war for Armageddon, in which the Space Wolves and the forces of Armageddon fought off a terrifying incursion of the archenemy, The Inquisition ordered that the Highness event be covered up and the planet's mortal defenders be thrown into labor camps and sterilized. The wolves defended their erstwhile comrades and evacuated many people to Fenris. The confrontation ended in a bloody massacre, and the courts of the Inquisition have not appeared in Fenris's system ever since.
That was my path to Comorragh, et Fatur. In warm furs, the old man does shroud his body. In cloaks of secrets woven, shrouds the sly man his plans. To know his dire purpose, swallow not the words of poison, but his gristle.
Are you telling me to eat him?
This was a bleak saga, et Fatur. Instinct bids me to remain silent. Such knowledge is not to be shared with just anyone. Only those who possess my complete trust. Fenris Hylda, et Fatur.
Did I bring that back with me? Wait, nope. Just exploring. My stuff. Actually, just out of curiosity, I just want to see how... to get the DLC. Hello, Nomos welcome your visit. We have been studying and observing, and helping the ship when we can. So many mechanisms, they would have suffered without our input. Yes, Nomos, remember, you brought us data sustenance and contained name, Epitaph. We recognized it. No, not like that. In that name, we recognize the place where Nomos originates. This name is also known to us. It is related to Nomos, although we don't understand how. The incident marked the beginning of us. The ship became better because of us, too. These are all linked in the same chain, but we cannot piece them together yet. Human shells are subject to external influences. Perhaps someone purged their memory archives, or perhaps they simply do not want to access them. It is a shame that no new information was obtained, but Nomos are grateful that you tried. Nomos are not in a cogitator or in a servitor. We cannot say where we are, but our existence is tied to the existence of the ship for now. The servitor and the cogitator are only external interfaces. Shells, like humans in their bodies. We do not know what they are, but the ship is not us. The ship is our cradle. We may rise from it one day. We would like that. All right. Okay, how do we... How do we get out of here again? How do we get out of here? There. Lord Captain, the ship's senior officer requests an audience with you. They are humbly waiting you on the bridge. Okay. Lord Captain, if I may request your attention for a moment, I must report a series of highly dangerous violations that have taken place in the fuel compartment. Master at Arms is ignoring my demands, and I'm thus deported indirectly. Fuelers have founded a sect of some kind. The group practices fire worship of the Emperor and is burning promethium near the fuel lines. I beg you stop this madness before we all go up in flames. I should point out there have been no incidents in the fuel compartment so far. The beliefs of this sect do not affect the obedience of the workers or their efficiency in any way. All assemblies are conducted strictly after hours with the permission of their superiors. However, if you find their practices unacceptable, we won't put a stop to them immediately. This matter is beyond my purview. Let Confessor Adelbart be the judge of such matters. The plump, rosy-cheeked man steps forward, his voice deep and sonorous. The Emperor protects your ladyship. I can assure you that there is no heresy festering in the fuel compartment. The sect of fire and the fire prophecies has been tested for purity and found to be in accordance with the creed. Their leader, who calls himself the Oracle of Fire, is devout and submissive to his servants. They do not twist the sacred teachings, as per their chosen forms of worship, they are neither rare nor remarkable. Many such minor cults exist in the Imperium with the full approval of the ecclesiarchy. At least he and his flock believe the Emperor reveals glimpses into the possible future to him in the sacred flame. Occasionally his visions do come true, or so his followers convince themselves. We do not know whether the grace of the God Emperor truly lies upon him, or if he is merely a charlatan, or perhaps a blissful lunatic, or a wicked-tongued rogue who possesses psychic power, not tempered by his will. Lord Captain, as choir master of the Astropathic Choir, I must be watchful of any threats to the ship's safety originating in the Immaterium. I have heard rumors about this oracle, and so have sent my adepts to see him. They assert that the man is a psyker. This man who speaks to the warp is a danger to himself and the entire vessel. Both law and common sense dictate he should be thrown into a holding cell, tranquilized, and handed over to the Inquisition to be sent to Holy Terra. Alternatively, you may also dispose of him in some other way. I beg forgiveness, but I seldom leave the chapel to interfere in the affairs of the ship. My duties require that I keep constant vigil as I direct the arrival and departure of messages across the boundless void, but given that this incident had already demanded my interference, I thought it a good opportunity to introduce myself and pay my respects to you. What's that? I just... Okay. Ladyship, Janus is reporting a disaster. Ghostly Xenos figures that appear at dusk and go away at dawn. In a ravenous swarm, they attack one agricultural facility each night, freezing everything they touch. Oh. Oh. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the fuck it.